Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to do another Magic deck overview. I have a few more decks that, actually these are old decks, but I modified them a little bit and I'm going to show you guys my updated decks. Okay, first up I have the all white. This used to be my Persistence is Futile deck, which basically used a lot of persist creatures that come back to life after they die, and they used a power conduit, which is an artifact that removes a counter from a creature or any permanent, and in that way that creature basically stays alive on the field for a long time. I actually changed it up. I don't use many persist creatures anymore, nor do I use a power conduit. Now I just changed it to this deck to use mostly creatures that are really hard to kill, like indestructible, protection, stuff like that. Okay, so let's go through the deck. This is a 75 card deck. I believe it is not a 60 card deck because I play casual. You know, if I was playing competitive, obviously I wouldn't use this many cards. But yeah, I play casual. So, all right, I have Story Circle in this deck because it is an awesome card. And yeah, it's a 3 mana enchantment, and basically it's a circle of protection for any color. And yeah, it really annoys people, so have that in the deck here. Noise Annex, this is another card that makes it really hard for creatures to attack you. And yeah, this deck is not only about having creatures that are hard to kill, but also enchantments and artifacts that make it hard for the opponent to deal damage to you. So this is another one. Noise Annex, Sphere Safety, another one of those cards. Creatures can attack you. You're going to see a trend here. This is going to be kind of an enchantment. It's kind of be like a prison, not prison, a lot of enchantments and stuff that make it hard for the opponents to attack you, because you have few creatures that are really hard to kill, and basically they can just keep on blocking your opponent's creatures, and your opponent's creatures can't, a lot of them can't attack at the same time because of these enchantments. So that's basically the game plan, is to stall, right? So yeah, Sphere of Safety helps do that. It's basically like a propaganda or ghostly prison, except they pay 1 mana for each enchantment you control, which can be a lot in this deck because there are a lot of enchantments. But it's 5 mana, so it comes out a little bit later. Windborn Muse is basically a ghostly prison on a creature. So yeah, same ability here, except it's a creature, which makes it a little bit easier to kill. But still, I like to have that extra 4 cards that basically the same as ghostly prison, and it stacks. Don't forget this effect stacks. They pay 2, and then they pay 4, 6, 8, and eventually they just can't attack with anything. Worship, really difficult to kill you when you have this out and you have a creature out. Obviously, when you have a bunch of indestructible creatures, it's going to be really hard to it's really going to be hard with this thing on the field. All right, Commander Isha, really hard to kill. I like this creature. This is probably my favorite Magic creature because it's from the set. I first started playing Magic in Judgment, and this is I believe one of the creatures from the starter decks. And yeah, flying protection from creatures, not used very often on Magic cards these days. 2/4 flying, but basically it's unblockable and it can't be damaged or targeted or really do anything from creatures, which makes it really hard to kill. So yeah, generally very nice, powerful card right here. Very simple too, just 2 keywords. All right, Oblivion Ring. This is for getting rid of problem permanents. The Windborn. I just skip over the cards I already did. Okay, Emiria. Being your upkeep, if you have 7 or more planes, you return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So obviously this is a powerful ability when you have 7 or more planes on the field. Ghostly Prison, it's enchantment. Pay 2 for each creature that's attacking you. The same thing as the Windborn Muse, except it's an enchantment instead of a creature, which means it's harder to kill. Luminarch Ascension. Yeah, this enchantment is going to get counters on it if they don't do damage to you, which is hard to do when you have all these other enchantments blocking the way, and you have a bunch of creatures that are good at blocking. But yeah, this can activate really easily. Then 2 mana. You can do this as many times as you have 2 mana. Put a 4/4 white angel creature. This is basically the end game card. This is the card that finishes the game usually. So yeah, usually I put a bunch of these enchantments, makes it hard for the opponent to attack me and deal damage to me, and then I put this on the field and start attacking with a bunch of angels. And yeah, this is basically the end game card right here. Yeah, I should say yeah, it's the win condition. Sorry, that's what I was looking for. Win condition was this card. All right, Glory. This is in my graveyard. I can pay 3 mana anytime to make every creature I control gain protection from the color of my choice, and I can do this as many times as I have 3 mana. So pretty powerful ability, I think. Worship Eternal Dragon, another creature that doesn't really die very easily. If it dies, you can pay 5 mana to return it to your hand from your upkeep, and it plane cycles for extra planes. So yeah, hard to kill. You have to remove it from the graveyard. We have Pentarch Paladin. This is one of the few creatures that don't have something to do with being hard to kill. It's just more of an Oblivion Ring kind of substitute. So if I don't have Oblivion Ring, or I want another card that helps kill some of the opponent's problem permanents, I put this guy on the field. Yeah, basically I can destroy anything on the field that is a color. So it can't destroy artifacts, but it can destroy pretty much anything else. Yep. Heartmender, this is a persist creature that I kept because it automatically removes its own counters. I don't need another card to do it. So basically every turn, unless the opponent does damage while this thing has a counter on it, unless it does that, basically every turn it removes its own counter and then pretty much persists every turn, so it's really hard to kill. So yeah, Heartmender. Michiko Konda is a defensive card. This thing is basically an enchantment. It's basically an enchantment, yeah. Whenever Source deals damage to you, that player sacrifices a permanent. So that's pretty powerful ability. Almost like an Annihilator type of ability. But yeah, this is, I treat this just as an enchantment almost, but it's a creature, so it's a little bit easier to kill. 8.5 Tails. This creature, so yeah, Michiko Konda, and this is from, was Betrayers of Kamigawa? Yeah, 8.5 Tails. This is actually originally from Champions of Kamigawa, I think. Another legendary creature, but yeah, this one also very hard to kill because you can turn any permanent to white and then gain protection from it. So basically 3 mana, you can gain protection from anything. So yeah, also really hard to kill creature. Pristine Angel is, yeah, if it's untapped, it has protection from artifacts and all colors. So if it, as soon as I attack, though, it will be tapped, so it doesn't have this ability. But basically, this is a defensive, really great defensive creature, because it can't be damaged, really, if you just leave it on the field in defense mode. It's not attacking, or if you give it vigilance, but I don't have anything here that gives me vigilance. But this basically is a really good defense card. Hypocrisite. Yep, if this card dies, it gains Suspend, and it gains 3 time counters, and it'll come back in 3 turns. So yeah, another creature that's really hard to kill. It'll come back, and then it dies, and it'll come back in another 3 turns. So really annoying. Heliod, indestructible, and then as long as you have Devotion Life, it's a creature, okay, but it has this ability. Okay, other creatures you control Vigilance. Oops, I thought I said... Okay, I forgot about this part of this card. Yeah, so I guess I do have something that gives Pristine Angel Vigilance. So I guess if this is on the field, then I can attack, and it can still have protection from artifacts in all colors. Oh, that's good. I didn't even realize that. Okay, yeah, the creature control Vigilance, and then 4 mana, I get a 2/1 creature token. I can do that as many times as I have mana. So it's a nice one. And if it becomes a creature, it's indestructible. So another hard to kill creature. Oketra the True, double strike and indestructible. And 4 mana to create a 1/1, so very, very similar to Heliod. Both these things are indestructible. This one's double strike, which makes it even better. But it has another condition here as well, can attack or block. Okay, so this one, both of these have conditions, but they're both useful because they're indestructible if they're creatures, and they both can create creatures. So, yep. Kijona Outpost, it's a great land because you can pay 2 mana, then tap to put a 1/1 to play, and since it's a land, it's really hard to kill. So that's another one similar to these guys' abilities, except it's a land. And Maze of Ith, it's a problematic land as well. It doesn't produce any mana, however, it has a built-in fog. So for one creature, that is. So if your opponent attacks you with a problematic creature, let's say it's a Darksteel Colossus, something really huge like that, just tap your land, and then that thing does no damage. So really, really useful, and yeah, saved my butt a bunch of times. Avacyn Guardian Angel, yep, 5/4. It's you can do 2 mana, prevent all damage to dealt to another creature, or 7 mana to prevent all damage that be dealt to sources of the color of your choice. So it's basically a blank fog for 1 color. So yep, another great defense card. This card, Konda. is 3/3, so really weak in stats for the mana cost. However, Bushido 5, which means that if it blocks, it gets +5/+5, so it becomes an 8/8. If it blocks, it becomes blocked, and it's indestructible. So that makes up for the cost a little bit. Platinum Angel, I mean, this card doesn't really have to do much with indestructible or hard to kill or anything, but I mean, you can't lose the game and your opponents can't win the game when this is on the field. So yeah, if you can protect this creature, which I have a lot of different creatures in this deck that can protect other creatures, then it's going to be really hard for your opponent to win. Pariah, all damage that will be dealt to you is dealt to enchanted creature. If you put this on an indestructible creature or a creature that prevents damage, then you're good. Done on this already. Oh, wait, Soul Nufrexia. 5 mana, permanents you control gain indestructible until end of turn. That's the one I want. Pay 5 mana anytime, everything gains indestructible. All your permanents, even your lands. And Magus of the Moat. Okay, so Moat is a card that's an enchantment. This is the creature version, but since that enchantment version is on the it's on the reprint. Yeah, it's on the reserved list. Yeah, the original Moat is on the reserved list, which means it'll never get reprinted. So yeah, I want that card. However, it's gonna be really hard to find. So the next best thing we have is Magus of the Moat, which means 4 mana, 0/3. It's a creature, which means it's easier to kill. However, creatures without flying can't attack, so it's an incredibly great defense card. Lifeline. Okay, whenever a creature is put in a graveyard and creature is in play, return that creature from your graveyard to play. So, again, artifact that makes it really hard for creatures to die. Core Haven, it's kind of like the Maze of Ith, except you pay mana for it. 2 mana, tap, prevent all combat damage that be dealt by attacking creatures. So it's a Maze of Ith with an activation cost, but it can add mana, so that's a little better. Oh, Gift of Immortality, so when it dies, the enchanted creature dies, you return that card to the battlefield, and then return this attached to that creature, which means that this will keep on enchanting the creature, and it'll activate again when that creature dies, so it's going to be pretty hard to kill it. Yeah, so I'm going to put this on the Platinum Angel, obviously. Oh, Palisance, every other global enchantment, or enchantment, there's no such thing as this thing, global enchantment, is just enchantment, is a creature with power and toughness equal to limit. So is this another win condition card in case I don't have my my Luminarch Ascension. Cauldron of Souls, I can choose a creature to give it persist until end turn, which means it'll come back to life. So it's another card that makes it harder for my creatures to die. And if I have Shadowmender or Heartmender, Heartmender, if I have a Heartmender on the field, then those things can be infinitely persisted. Dawn Elemental, prevent all damage that will be dealt to Dawn Elemental. So it's really hard to kill with damage. You have to basically destroy this thing, but you know, I'll probably put a Pariah on this thing, and then all the damage gets redirected to this guy, which prevents it, so that's a good one. Good combo. Okay, I have Atalia Semite Master. Good card from Invasion. Yeah, I can use any white mana. This is a white deck anyways, all white, mono white, so it's not going to have any problem with this activation, but yeah, basically X to prevent X damage, or you gain X life. Both of those abilities are pretty good. Deathless Angel, tap, 2 mana, target creatures indestructible until end of turn. Yay, another creature that makes other creatures hard to kill. Sigil New Dawn, whenever a creature is put in my graveyard, I can pay 2 mana to return it to my hand. So, yeah, even if you do manage to kill the creature somehow, I can pay 2 mana if I have it open and then return it to my hand. So it doesn't die. I think everything else here... Oh, Jareth, Leonon Titan. 6 mana, 4/7. Whenever it blocks, it gets +7/+7 until end of turn, so it's a great blocker. And then it gains protection from the color of my choice, so it's, yeah, it's a really great blocker, defender. Privileged Position, really good card. Other permanents you control can't be the target of spells or abilities you opponent, which is basically the same as hexproof. So this thing says other permanents you control have hexproof, which means if your opponent ever wants to kill any of your stuff, they have to destroy this thing first, and then kill, and then target the other stuff. So that makes it really annoying and hard to kill. So anyways, yep, that's the my white protection deck. It used to be my persist deck, but I just switched it to straight up protection and defense. That's it.